If you've been shopping for a Gulf Access home in Cape Coral lately and feel like you're not seeing the same selection you saw over the last few years, you're not imagining it. In fact, Gulf Access inventory is nearly down 40% compared to this time last year. And that's having a real impact on buyer choices. The biggest thing I'm hearing right now isn't that prices are too high. It's that buyers can't find the house they want. What's even more interesting is the demand continues to grow. During the first 6 months of 2026, more than 100 additional Gulf Access homes sold compared to the same period in 2025. So inventory has been shrinking, buyer activity has actually been increasing, and in one quadrant of Cape Coral, the market has already crossed into a seller's market territory with just 3.4 months of inventory available. So the question isn't whether the Gulf Access market is changing. The question is, how much longer does this window of opportunity stay open before prices start moving higher? Because when buyers tell me they aren't seeing the same selection of homes they saw over the last 3 years, they're not wrong. The inventory simply isn't there anymore. Now, that doesn't mean buyers have lost all their leverage. There are still opportunities out there, but the market today looks very different than it did a year ago, and dramatically different than it did 2 or 3 years ago. Now, in this update, I'm going to break down what's happening in each Gulf Access area of Cape Coral, which quadrant has already moved into a seller's market, where inventory is disappearing the fastest, where prices are moving, and what I'd personally be paying attention to if I were buying or selling a waterfront home right now in Cape Coral. I'm Cessna, your Cape Coral waterfront expert, and this is your July 2026 Gulf Access Market Update.
Welcome aboard. This is your Cape Coral Gulf Access Homes Market Update for July 2026. We've got a lot of great information to dive into. Really, the big storyline right now is inventory continues to drop. So how much longer are prices going to remain the same, or when are they going to start to increase? We're going to dive into that. Now, you know, we always use the numbers directly from the MLS. This is the exact market, the way that the MLS is telling us how many homes have sold, what price are they selling for, how many days is it taking them to sell, months of inventory, all the great stuff. We've got a lot of information to go into. And then we're also going to break it down the 3 quadrants. Now in Cape Coral, we have 4 different quadrants. 3 of those quadrants have Gulf Access Canal homes. That's going to be the Northwest, Southeast, and the Southwest. So we're going to take a look at those markets individually so you can get an idea of what's happening there. So maybe you're thinking about buying, maybe you're thinking about selling in the different areas of Cape Coral. You'd like some insight on that. So this market report is going to be for you. Definitely stick around to the end. A lot of great information to cover, and we're going to go over, is now the time to buy, is now the time to sell, what should you be preparing for going forward. All right, first up is market indicators. We need to know exactly what's happening in the market. We have to know what the indicators are telling us. So first up is inventory. How many homes are available on the market? This is our supply. A lot of supply means lower prices. As supply decreases, that means prices potentially will increase. Median price point. What are people actually paying for a home here in the city of Cape Coral? And in this market report, it's Gulf Access single family homes. So days on the market. How many days are homes sitting on the market before going under contract? Now, a lot of this, that we've been having some super long days for the last few years, 60 days on the market, 70 days on the market, over 100 days on the market before homes being sold, that's the median, is because homes were not priced correctly. We are starting to get homes priced a lot more correctly, especially on the overall market, and we are seeing them go off the market a lot quicker now. We're still pretty high on days on the market, which is a good sign for buyers. However, as far as sellers go, you definitely want to monitor the market, and you definitely want to price your home correctly if you are looking to sell it. I've seen several homes recently hit the market within a few days. They're already pending and off the market. And those are homes that were priced accordingly for what the market was dictating based on the supply that we have, or the demand that we have here in Cape Coral. Next up, we have closed sales. How many closed sales are selling here in the Cape Coral area? I know a lot of the headlines would like to make you think that Cape Coral is empty, Cape Coral is dead. We're not selling any more homes. Well, we've been selling over 500 homes for the last several months in the market here in Cape Coral, single family homes. And when it comes to Gulf Access homes, we've been selling over 100 homes per month for the last several months as well of Gulf Access homes. We're really seeing that market start to see the demand start to increase in that market compared to where it was the last few years. So I want to dive into that as well. First up, let's talk about that. Let's talk about active inventory. So active inventory, this is how many homes are currently Available for sale for purchase here in the city of Cape Coral, June 2026. We have 460 Gulf Access Canal homes here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral. March 2026, just a couple months ago, we had 603. And then 1 year ago, June 2025, 771 homes available for sale. Now that's a huge decrease year over year on that inventory. So what's going on? That's about a 40% decrease. We're going to jump into that here in a few minutes as well. But homes are flying off the market. We have a lot more demand, and the supply is not keeping up with the demand. The demand has definitely increased. To give you an idea of how that worked, if we looked at the first 6 months of 2026, we had 590 homes sell, Gulf Access homes. Now, if we look at the first 6 months of 2025, 1 year ago, it's 466 homes sold. Huge demand for these Gulf Access homes. It's increasing. So if you are in the market for a Gulf Access home and you've been waiting, you're right there at the end. So I would highly recommend this summer or early fall, you capitalize and get the home that you've been watching or that you want. Because if you wait much longer, chances are you're going to pay a lot more for that property, number one. But number two, you're going to have a hard time finding the property that you truly want, which that's already starting to happen. Now look at this chart. Active inventory, June 2025, look where we were. We were actually going through season. We were actually substantially higher than where we were in June in 2025. So March, April, May, over 800 homes available on the market. And then as we got into the summer months, it started to drop a little bit. I didn't believe it would increase as much as it did in 2025, but I thought for 2026, we'd have a pretty solid increase in inventory going into season. But we just had a little bump, peaked in February, and then we just started dropping and dropping and dropping. And now we're sitting at 460 Gulf Access Canal homes here in the Cape Coral. I expect that number to continue to drop, not as rapidly now that we're out of season, but we are going to see that number continue to drop even further over the next few months. The big storyline, or what's going to happen next, is really going to tell us once we get into season next year. So if you haven't bought by January or February and the inventory continues to stay low, you're going to start paying more money for these properties here in Cape Coral because prices are going to start increasing. So keep that in mind. I think your window right now is end of summer, early fall. Go ahead and contact me, click the link below, and let's chat about where you want to be staying your winters here in Cape Coral. It's kind of pointless to be staying up there in the frigid cold of the winter every year when you have this incredible paradise here where you can park your boat right in your backyard and head out to the Gulf. No more winterizing your boat and letting it sit for 7 months when you can't even use it. All right, let's go back to medium price. Now here's the medium price point in Cape Coral. Right now, June 2026, $722,500 for a Gulf Access Canal home. 50% of the homes sold above that amount, 50% of the Gulf Access homes sold below that amount. March 2026, we were at $770,000, and then June 2025, $730,000. A lot of people say, I'm waiting for it to bottom out, Barry. I'm waiting for it to bottom out. Well, you've been waiting a long time, since 2022, 2023, and I'm pretty confident we're at the bottom, and we're starting to see signs that it's heading back the other direction. So if you find the right house that you like and you want, you better jump on it. Let's negotiate it. Let's get it for you. Go ahead and reach out and let's make that happen. But look where we were at. June 2025, $730,000. June 2026, $722,500. March, we were at $770,000. So we're fluctuating. We're going up and down, but we're really not dropping much. If you look year over year, June 2025, you can see where we were at. And then as we got into the summer months, prices decreased. And then we increased when we went into season just a tad. And now for June, we actually saw a bit of a drop. And I think what's happening there is at the end of season, April, May, when a lot of these homes that sold in June went under contract, it was what was left on the market. It was cheaper things, homes that needed work, and the sellers negotiated with the buyers, and they were able to get that prices lower, which brought the overall median price point down to $722,500. Next up, we have days on market. So days on market, June 2026, we had 57 days on the market. This is how long it takes a home to sell, median days on market. If the home is in great shape, it's selling within about 57 days. March 2026, 46 days, and then June 2025, 1 year ago, 80 days on the market. So as you can see, that number is shifting as well. You look at our chart where we were at last year in 2025 going into the summer, and then as we got into the fall months, we started seeing inventory drop and we started seeing demand start to pick up, and that knocked the days on the market lower. Also, like I just said, when homes are priced accordingly, they're selling quicker. So a lot of the sellers over the last couple of years have been pricing their homes way too high, and they're sitting on the market a lot longer. Well, now they're starting to catch on that if they want to sell their house, they have to price it accordingly, and that's what's happening. And so we are seeing that days on the market start to decrease. Okay, closed sales. How many closed sales do we have in June 2026? 106 Gulf Access Canal homes sold in the city of Cape Coral in June 2026. March 2026, 3 months ago, 101 homes sold, and then 1 year ago, June 2025, 81 homes sold. And this is where we really saw the buyers or the demand pick up for Gulf Access homes here in Cape Coral this year in 2026. I mean, it's always been good, but over the last few years, we've been selling a lot of the cheaper homes. But as we got into 2026, we saw a noticeable increase in buyers. And I think what it is, they've been watching the market, they've been watching it stabilize, where the prices have started to stabilize. They really haven't changed much in the last 2 or 3 years. And then they saw inventory start to drop substantially, and they started to get a little concerned. I had a handful of clients tell me, Barry, we've been watching the market, I've been watching houses, and last year in 2025, 2024, there was a huge selection. I saw multiple houses that I really liked, but now I'm ready to buy, and I'm looking at the market, and I'm looking on Zillow or Realtor.com, and I'm just not seeing the selection. And that's not a mirage. That's a very true thing that's happening right now because our inventory has fallen so much. So when that happens, these buyers that want to buy in the Cape Coral market are starting to see that happening, and they're understanding that they're not going to have the options if they keep waiting. So they're tackling the homes now, and we saw that Gulf Access Canal home demand increase quite a bit. And just to give you an idea, like we talked about, 590 sales for the first 6 months compared to 466 sales the first 6 months of 2025. As you can see the chart here, 75 in June, or actually 81, and then came down through summer, and then we started jumping in once we got into season, and it's just been a solid season, and it hasn't let up yet. Now I do expect once we see next month's numbers, the month for July, it's going to be below 100, but the demand has been staying there. If it stays high above 100, we're just not having the inventory to replenish that, and we're going to be into trouble here in a couple of months and see prices jump quite a bit if there's not enough demand or if there's not enough supply for the demand. Okay, months of inventory. This is a really key number to pay attention to. This is how many homes are available on the market for sale right now and how long that inventory would last based on the current demand. So June 2026, 4.4 months of inventory. March 2026, 6 months of inventory. June 2025, 1 year ago, 9.5 months of inventory. So basically, based on the demand that we have, if we didn't have another new home hit the market or new listing hit the market, it would take us just 4.4 months to completely sell out our inventory here in Cape Coral. Now, anywhere between 4 and 6 months is considered a neutral market. Anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. Anything under 4 months is considered a seller's market. 4.4 months, we haven't seen a number like that in a long time for these Gulf Access homes, probably the last few years. But if you look at the chart, we've been in a buyer's market for a long time. Since the end of 2022, we've been in a buyer's market. A lot more inventory than demand. However, we are seeing that since we started seeing inventory start dropping last summer and just continually drop until now, and it's continuing to drop more, we're getting closer and closer. So we're right now, we've been in a neutral market for the last 4 months, almost 5, because we were barely in a buyer's market back in February. So when this happens, when we get into a seller's market, which we're heading in that direction, I'm pretty confident that once we get into next season, January, February, March, we're going to be in a seller's market unless something horrific happens on the world stage that would make the market collapse or make something go wrong there. But as far as the local market goes here in Cape Coral, the demand that we're seeing and the limited supply, I think we're going to be back into a seller's market by early next year. So if you're thinking about buying, you've been putting it off, contact me. Let's get this knocked out. Other key numbers to be aware of. Sold price per square foot for a Gulf Access Canal home here in Cape Coral, $371 a square foot. List price received, 94.9%. This is key. Pay attention to this number here. This means that they are still negotiating. Sellers are still negotiating with the buyers based on the list price. They are still taking almost 6%, about 5% off of whatever the list price is what the discount the buyers are getting right now being negotiated. I've helped a lot of my clients get more than that, but right now 5% off as a median is a pretty good place to be if you're buying. One of the things that this number, it actually came down this month compared to where it was the last couple of months. And that's because as we get to the end of season as well, sellers that are still holding onto the house, they were hoping to sell it during season. Now they're willing to negotiate a little more than they were just a couple months ago. All right, new listings. Just 90 new listings came to the market here in the city of Cape Coral. So think about that. 106 homes sold, but only 90 new homes came to the market. That's not enough to keep the market going in that direction. So we're just continually losing inventory. That's what puts us at this 4.4 months of inventory available for purchase. Let's compare the different quadrants. So in Cape Coral, we have the southeast, southwest, northwest. These are our three different quadrants that actually have Gulf Access Canal homes in them. It's really important to understand what these different quadrants offer. Southeast Cape Coral, that's going to be along Del Prado, Santa Barbara, east of Santa Barbara, country club area, the yacht club area, things like that, or areas like that. So median price, $625,000 for a Gulf Access Canal home in this market. 55 homes were sold. Right now, there's 188 homes available. That puts us months of inventory at just 3.4 months of inventory. 3.4 months of inventory. This is the lowest I've seen in years, which is a huge indicator that prices may start increasing rather quickly. 625,000. Now in the southeast part of Cape Coral, a lot of these homes are older homes or smaller homes. This was the original area that was first built out in Cape Coral. So it typically is the cheapest area of Cape Coral that you can purchase. Now there's a lot of homes in this area that are actually outside of flood zones or in the flood zone X or X500, meaning you don't need flood insurance per your lender. So if you are looking to be in somewhere where you're high and dry, you want to be, southeast has a lot of that opportunity. Now let's get back to the numbers. So homes sold, 55 homes sold, 625,000 median price point. Let's jump on to Southwest. Now Southwest was the next area to be developed, and this area really caught speed in the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of bigger homes were built in this area. Just some incredible homes there. 825,000 is your median price point here. Homes sold 36, homes available 187. In months of inventory, 4.3. So this area is well established. You have Tarpon Point, you have Cape Harbor for shopping, restaurants, things like that. And then this is going to be basically the area west of Santa Barbara and south of Veterans for these Gulf Access Canal homes. Now in these areas, you can get into some areas where it's pretty lengthy for getting out to open water, like your distance to open water in the Surfside area and things like that. So pay attention to that. I did put out a video just recently on the Surfside area, the Pelican area, how long it takes to get to open water. Lots of great homes in those areas, absolutely beautiful, and they are selling fast when they're priced correctly. But next up is Northwest Cape Coral. Now Northwest Cape Coral is the area that is being developed now. There's a lot of empty lots up there, a lot of homes that are brand new in that area. The vegetation, the landscaping is not as beautiful as, say, Southwest Cape Coral because it just hasn't had time to develop yet. But it's an absolutely incredible area there in the Northwest for opportunity. Now, median price, $747,500. Homes sold, 8. There's just not as many homes up there in that area. And they do sell a little slower. Homes available, 84, and then months of inventory, 10.5. So as you can see, 10.5, that tells me there's some opportunity for negotiation up there. A lot of the homes that are selling up there, this homes available 84, a lot of those homes are brand new homes. And sometimes those builders aren't willing to negotiate as much as, say, somebody that's selling a resale. Now, sometimes you can get with a builder and you'll get an excellent price, but I believe that's why the homes are not selling as fast up there, is because they are beautiful. A lot of money was invested to build them, seawalls, swimming pools, things like that. And the builders are trying to get the money back out. However, you can negotiate with them, and if it sits on the market long enough, they are willing to negotiate with you. So excellent opportunity there in the Northwest Cape Coral area. This is going to be west of Burnt Store Road. This is going to be where the Seven Islands area, Seven Islands development is going to be built. They are starting to work on that now, so that's exciting to watch that happen. You also have several new parks in that area: Tropicana, Crystal Lake. You also have a couple of other Joe Stonis Park. Just a really cool area up there, and the infrastructure is coming. You do have a Publix close by, just down the street, banks, restaurants, things like that. So it's not completely far away, but there is room for a lot of improvement there, and when that happens, prices are going to continue to increase. The other thing I wanted to mention too is a lot of Northwest Cape Coral is on well and septic. So that's something you need to understand what areas those are. And that's what I educate my clients on, is where those are at and the estimated idea of when that's going to be switched over to city water and sewer. Because in Cape Coral, everything will eventually be city water and sewer. But if you buy right now at well and septic, you often can get a really good deal, understanding that when they do put in city well and sewer, you are going to have to pay the assessment of close to $40,000. But typically that's a wash, because your prices are going, or your value of your home will increase as well. All right, other key numbers to be aware of. This is the overall economic stability here. Inflation, we peaked at 9.1% back in June 2022. We're currently sitting at 4.2% and increasing. Last month we were at 3.8%. Just a handful of months ago we were in the low threes. So that is increasing. We're going to keep an eye on inflation. I know gas prices are pretty high right now, and there's other things that are contributing to that 4.2%. Hopefully that gets wrangled back in and we start to see that decrease once again to keep a strong market. Interest rates, back in November 2023, they peaked at about 8%. They're now at 6.5%. Our target is sub 6%. But what I've been seeing now is buyers understand that interest rates are not dropping back to that 3% range, that 2.5%, 4%. We're staying pretty close to that 6%. And there's no point in wasting any more time living up there in the frigid cold of the north. They're biting the bullet, they're accepting it, they're moving on down, and that's why I think we're seeing a lot of demand too, is people are just accepting that interest rates are going to be in the sixes for quite some time. Unemployment is at 4.2% and staying steady. It's been around 4% for the last several years. We did see high threes. Last month it was at 4.3%. Now it's at 4.2%. So in theory, if this number increases, then interest rates would decrease. We're going to keep an eye on that like we have been, but we're not seeing any movement there for unemployment. It's staying pretty steady there at the 4.2%. Let's jump into supply, because this really tells us about supply and demand. We need to know how much supply is available. Current inventory in the city of Cape Coral for Gulf Access Canal homes, 460 homes available. It's a year-over-year decrease of 40%. I can't stress this enough, that the inventory is going away. So if you're watching anything out there that's telling you the Cape Coral market is falling apart or it's crashing, or those stories are well behind us. It never crashed. It went down to about 20% from 25% from where they were at in the peak of 2022. And now we're sitting at a 40% decrease in inventory year over year. When inventory goes away, like fuel, we just had our fuel go away with over in Iran and taking away the fuel, our prices went up. That was our supply. We lost our supply. Same thing here. As supply goes away, 40% of the homes that we had last year, we don't have this year. The prices are going to start increasing. So I've been telling you that for the last few months. You need to pay attention. Now's your time if you've been waiting. Demand. Population is estimated now at around 240,000 people. In the next 4 years, we're expected to be 260,000 people.
And by 2050, 320,000 people. Fastest growing city. We're often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. Cape Coral is not dead. Cape Coral is not dying. Cape Coral is not empty. Cape Coral is not vacant. Cape Coral is full of life and full of people moving here every single day. For every person that moves out, we have 2 or 3 move right in. So whoever's selling that narrative, it's just not true. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to see the future of Cape Coral and how it continues to reinvent itself and continues to be a pretty amazing place. So, is now the time to buy? Yes, of course, now's the time to buy. If you've been waiting and you've been waiting and you've been waiting, right now, supply has slowed incredibly. It's dropped. We don't have that supply. Buyer demand has increased, especially for Gulf Access Canal homes. We saw that buyer demand increase over the last 6 months compared to where we were a year ago. Now, your window of opportunity is going to be right now, July, August, September. Those 3 months to come in and find the right house and do the right negotiations, because once you get into October, November, we start to see more people coming into the market buying. And then once we get into season, your competition is pretty high. Now, the one thing you do have once you get into season is you typically have more supply. However, I'm just not convinced we're going to see a lot of supply once we get into the season or the first part of 2027. So where will you be next winter? You've been waiting, you've been waiting, you've been waiting. Stop waiting. Now's the time to start living this life. I'm always amused, and I always talk to clients. They come down, they spend a couple of weeks, maybe they're staying in an Airbnb, they see the boats going by, they say, Barry, what are we waiting for? And I say, you're exactly right. The challenge is people are waiting for the best interest rate, they're waiting for the best prices, they don't want to overpay. There's a whole bunch of variables there, but the stars are aligning right now. And if you do wait, if you truly want to be here in Cape Coral and you wait, you may be out of luck. All right, sellers still willing to negotiate. We are seeing sellers still negotiate. 5% decrease off list price. So, and there's all kinds of different types of negotiations you can do, not just money off, but there's other things, other key strategies that I've used with sellers to get you the best price and terms. So let's chat. If now's the time, let's go. Let's get that home so you're not wasting another winter in the frigid cold of Minneapolis, Cleveland, Chicago, Boston. Get on down here. So is now the time to sell. You really have to ask yourself, why do you want to sell? If you need to sell, if you have to sell, you can definitely sell. And you can sell your house pretty quickly in this current market as long as it's priced right and as long as it's what the market's looking for. The big thing right now is a lot of the buyers are looking for homes that are new, homes that have been updated or upgraded, homes that are in areas that don't require substantial costs for flood insurance. Those are the ideal properties. Now, some people, they just say, Barry, I want to be as close to the open water as possible. I don't want to waste any time taking my boat through the canal system. And we find those houses for our clients. They typically understand that with those ones, they are going to be paying a little bit more of a premium when it comes to insurance, or they may get an older home or something like that because those are the ones that are closer to the open water. But not always the case. But let's chat and put a strategy together for you. So right now, prices stabilized, but not increasing. As a seller, you're not going to get any more money for your house than you were probably in 2023, 2022, the end of 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Prices are still down. However, we haven't seen them drop much or at all in the last year. So understand, if you come in, you price it right, they're stabilized, we're going to find a buyer for you. However, if you're still expecting to get those high 2022, 2021 numbers for the sale of your house, you're not going to get those. You're not going to get those for a long time. Those numbers we're not going to see the market increase substantially in 2027, but I believe we will start to see it increase. So be ready for that. But if you do need to sell, you can definitely sell your house. You definitely need strategic selling. You need AI. You need somebody or an agent that has market knowledge and understands the ins and outs. He understands your neighborhood, exactly what's going on in your area. That understands Gulf Access Canal homes and how they sell, what the demand is, what people are looking for, and how to set that up correctly. Someone that uses social media.
to market your property. It's all about exposure. The more eyes on your house, the more likely you are to sell your house the quickest at the highest price point. So we've got a great system and program in place. So if you are in the process of selling or considering selling, go ahead and reach out to me. Let's chat about the market and the neighborhood that you live in. I have the ability to do remote selling as well. So if you live up north, you're considering selling, go and reach out to me. We can do a video call. I can go over and take a look at the property and see exactly what that property would sell for and see if it makes sense for you to do that. All right, that concludes this video. Go ahead and schedule your video strategy call. Let's chat about what it is that you need or want here in the Cape Coral area. I have the out-of-town buyers program where we chat about with you if you're out of town, maybe you're thinking about buying here in the Cape Coral area. We do a video call. We put together a strategy for you, find out your budget, find out your location that you want to be in. I educate you on the different areas, flood zones, distance to open water, all kinds of great stuff on that strategy call. So it's extremely beneficial. Go ahead and book that. You can click the QR code on the screen or go ahead and text or call me. But go ahead and schedule that. Let's get together. If you're selling, same thing, Out of Town Sellers Club, or if you're here in town, I'm happy to come over to your property, take a look at it, and give you a real honest look at what you can sell your property for. All right, it's great chatting with you. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.